I'm really excited because we've been covering Tommy, and he's in jail 13 months. But there's a huge pushback, and I'm hoping that Tommy is feeling your love and your prayers. And this wake-up call.
Yes.
In the UK, not just in the UK, but across Europe, something has to be done.
Right.
You cannot be put in prison for 13 months for reading
the
news just because
it's already been published.
The people belong to the religion that shall not be named. 500,000 have signed the Free Tommy petition. More than 500,000 people have signed a petition calling for the... I love that.
No, don't even read right
You know what? Why is it that even Breitbart... I'm not happy with Breitbart anymore, by the way. They've been bought and sold by globalists, but they are good news source, especially for European news.
Right.
Tommy Robinson to be freed from jail in just a few days. Mr. Robinson was jailed for 13 months over the weekend after pleading guilty to breaching contempt of court laws whilst on a suspended sentence for the same charge. He was given 10 months for the contempt of court charge and a further 3 months for breaching the suspended sentence incurred after filming outside a gang rape trial in Canterbury last year. The petition, however, claims he was arrested and jailed for reporting on Muslim grooming gangs, adding a job... See, Breitbart's really twisted here, aren't they? Really slanted.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, Raheem
left.
He was the editor-in-chief of Breitbart London. This would not be written this way. Raheem is in Tommy's corner.
It could be that... Well, I believe that Raheem left because there was pressure.
Well, he's friends with Bannon still.
And so he was like, you know what? If this is going to keep going on, you don't know what goes on behind these articles.
Right. Yeah.
So he's probably said, I'm out of here.
But the petition claims that he was arrested and jailed for reporting on Muslim grooming gangs, adding a job that he chooses to do with no regard for his own safety, informing the public of all the wrongs committed in the name of Allah, fighting against adversary, and reporting on issues that our mainstream media are too afraid to speak of. And I'm really excited about this, and I'm also really excited because Geert Wilders is going to go to London in support of Tommy. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Tommy is raising issues that are affecting all of our communities and that are being swept under the carpet and hidden from the public. The names and home addresses of defendants are also routinely reported in the press before sentencing, as well as the details of allegations, and critics have questioned why Mr. Robinson's actions are exceptional and worthy of such swift, punitive action. We are going to keep covering this because 5 hours, seriously, and you're in jail. That happens to nobody. I mean, where's the appeal? Like, everybody gets an appeal, and then an appeal. In an appeal.
Well, there's a lot of facets here, too, because I hear people like Nigel and even Katie Hopkins on Tucker Carlson saying, and then even Horatio here in the chat, which is valid. He was told not to do XYZ. He did it, which apparently he did, or he wouldn't have pled guilty to it, from what I understand. But the issue that I have is the judge said don't refer to them as Muslim rapists or whatever until they have been proven otherwise. He was reading from a newspaper article that was already published.
Right. And he was on
now, why property. Is it that Tommy, just because he's been given a warning to not call these people this or whatever, you shouldn't go to jail? It doesn't matter whether he was told not to do it. If the people are allowed to publish it, any human being should be allowed to read it. This is insanity at its highest level. So regardless of whether he pled guilty to it or he did whatever the judge told him he shouldn't do, the judge was in the wrong. And Tommy is standing up against the system that is 100% in the wrong here.
His defense says he was mindful, having spoken to others and taken advice, not to say things that he thought would actually prejudice these proceedings. He did not try to cause difficulties for the court process, but the judge said not only was it a very long video.
Oh, because that's important.
But I regard it as a serious aggravating feature that he was encouraging others to share it. That's the point of making a video.
So all of this is like based on interpretation for how the judge felt and interpreted.
He was laughing, by the way.
Tommy was doing.
Right.
And I love that the judge is laughing because guess what? You may have, and a lot of people think, sentenced this man to death in prison. I'm glad that you think that's funny, Judge.
Yeah, I know. So here is a protest happening at the British consulate in New York City. This, like, seriously, there's been protests against his imprisonment in Australia.
Yeah.
Jack Posobiec was lighting candles in Washington D.C. at 1 p.m. today for Tommy.
Yeah. There have been some incredible legal minds, at least here in the United States, that have analyzed this, and they're going, what?
Yeah.
What the heck? And they know more details than even we do.
Right.
And they're still saying, this is not a thing. This should not be a thing.
Right. So I'm really excited. People getting out. I mean, it's getting people in the streets. It's getting people talking. It's getting people waking up. You know that this could happen to you. Now, this is kind of interesting. This is funny. Jack Posobiec tweeted this out. I guess there's an ad that says you're invited to Britain. Okay. Well, somebody superimposed that crazy knife attack guy in it.
We showed this the other day.
But not with the super...
You're invigorated.
Invigorated.
You're invited.
You're invited. To London, I think. I don't know if it's Britain.
You're intrepid. You're inspired.
You're inspired.
You're invited.
You're invited.
You're in tune.
You're invited.
I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's kind of funny.
You're involved. You're in awe.
You're invited.
You're infatuated.
You're invited.
You'll find your invitation to Britain at visitbritain.com.
Okay, that's kind of funny. Oh my gosh. No, I don't want to deter people. But
Come on.
it is kind of
Come
funny.
on. I'm not, I'm really not.
No, but seriously, back to Tommy, because my brain is processing a lot of this. If I was told by a judge that I couldn't go sing a praise song on a public square to God, and I did it, and I went to jail for it, just because the judge told me not to, I would expect the entire public to cry out that this is an injustice. So the excuse
whole
of the
thing-
judge told him not to do it doesn't fly with me.
If these were white guys, no, Tommy wouldn't be in jail. And that's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
If this was a gang of white guys,
Right.
and Tommy was reporting on it over and over
They
again,
are using him to
the
make
BBC
a display.
would be there. Everyone would be there.
Yeah. Oh, if this was
Everyone
like
would-
Jimmy Savile and Tommy was reporting on it, no one's going to care.
No,
He's not going to jail for that.
there would be reporters there all day, every day.
Yes.
Geert Wilders, I'm coming to London to protest for Tommy Robinson. The media gag order has been lifted. But
And that's another thing that we didn't hit on, at least today. The gag order where no one could report on it for, what was it, a week or something?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You can't tell the media not to report on something. The dude, it was swift. It was 5 hours. Dude's in jail. What is there to be kept secret for a week about it? And it wasn't to do with there was the original gag order on reporting on that actual case that he was talking about. But then there was the gag order on reporting on Tommy. And it's like, what?
Right. So the media gag order has been lifted, but the incarceration of Tommy Robinson remains a stain on the reputation of the United Kingdom. We will not rest until Robinson is free. 9 years ago, I had the privilege, this is Geert, of being banned from entering the United Kingdom. He was one of the first, I bet. Though the leader of a
Many,
majority,
apparently.
major democratically elected political party in Netherlands, I am also an outspoken critic of Islam. That is why I am on the death list of several Islamic organizations and have been forced to live under 24/7 police protection for almost 14 years. Wow. And that is also the real reason why the then British government deemed me a danger to public security. The elites all over Western Europe fear the wrath of Islam. I managed to have the ban overturned in court. But since then, numerous other Islam critics, such as my courageous American friends, Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller, both of them indomitable advocates of freedom and democracy, have also been banned from entering Britain.
What is it with Britain? And I'm not going to say you guys, because obviously if you're watching our show, you're in agreement with us.
Like free speech, right?
But I mean, yes, seriously.
Natural rights.
You can't just go banning whoever you want from the country based just because they don't like a specific religion.
It's all about Islam. Or is anybody else? How come people who subscribe to extreme Islamic beliefs aren't banned?
Oh, no. You could be trained as an ISIS fighter, and here's Sadiq Khan saying, won't you come into our country? Seriously.
George Orwell wrote in the preface to Animal Farm that if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people that what they don't want to hear. And I think that that's one of the things, the only thing that I am grateful for in public school, that I read Animal Farm and learned about communism. In just that, I don't know if I would have read it otherwise. I mean, probably in homeschool books I might have, but the fact that kids, I don't even know if they make kids read that anymore. But everyone needs to understand Animal Farm. Everyone needs to understand that when you violently overtake the government, usually the fat cats, in this case the fat pigs, they take over and then they put the whole farm under even worse constraints than what it was before. And that's what happens. That's what's happening right now all over Europe. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. In Western Europe today, cowardly authorities want to deprive people like myself, Robert and Pamela and others of our right to tell our fellow citizens what Islam doesn't want them to hear. We talked about this before. Right. This is blasphemy laws literally being enforced.
Yes, absolutely. But instead of the previous blasphemy laws in the UK that were you couldn't speak against the church, now it's you can't speak against Islam, and you'll get thrown in jail if you do.
So when you talk about
it's that simple though.
When you talk about rich Christian preachers, you know, flying jets or whatever, they're not going to come after you and blow you up. That's the difference. You know, that ideology, you're allowed, like, Christians are incredibly laughed at, ridiculed, made fun of in every aspect of society.
I'm sorry, I'm still blown away by my last statement. It just hit me. It really boils down to, you can't speak about Islam or you going to jail.
Right.
In the UK.